And of course, we're still on the Edo State APC governorship primary elections outcome. Resulting from the outcome of the controversial primary election of the All Progressives Congress, a former Edo State Commissioner for Communication and Orientation, Andrew Emwanta, has resigned from the party. Now, the former commissioner, in a letter to the ward chairman of Ward 7, Ego local government area, says he resigned as a result of the flawed governorship primary, which took place on Saturday and produced 3 winners. The chairman of the electoral committee of the primary, Governor Hope Uzodinma, had, however, announced 7 reps member Honorable Dennis Idahosa as the official winner of the primary, while returning officer Stanley Obuaja declared Senator Monday Okpebolo as the winner. Also, Ojo Babatunde, who claimed to be representing the returning officers in all the local government areas, declared Anamero Dekeri, a serving House of Reps member, also as the winner of the governorship primary election. Meanwhile, youths and women have taken over the party secretariat in Benin, sacking the party state executive, asking the NWC to remove them. And the secretariat was taken over by protesters who demanded the outright resignation of the state working executive after accusing them of collecting some monies illegally from aspirants. They vow to remain at the party secretariat all through the week. Well, Andrew Emwanta, a constitutional lawyer and a former Edo State Commissioner for Communication and Orientation, joins me now to shed more light on all that have happened and, of course, why he decided to ditch the party. Thank you so much, Andrew, for joining us.
Thank you, Sambo. It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
Yeah, so let's start from that last part. Actually, youth leader Kabaka actually went to the APC State Secretariat and he led some group of people, and they're all asking for the State Working Committee to be sacked. Saying that they all took sides. What's been your view so far?
Yeah, thank you. I think what has happened to APC is not far from the problem of Nigeria. I think those in the ruling class, politicians, are taking Nigeria for a ride, looking at the very sad state of our economy, looking at how bad things have become. Dollar is almost 2,000. Exchanging $1 to 2,000 naira. And we have a government that is so relaxed. And look at the scenario that is playing out in Edo State. Democracy is not just being brutally raped, but coldly murdered. A situation where a simple process, people were appointed as chief returning officer for the state. You had local government coalition officers. Then the person whose role was similar to that of a rec, whose duty it was to collect the results on behalf of the National Working Committee, ensure that the process is seamless. Somebody who was supposed to play a father figure. That's why governors are appointed to play that role. He was our role. And I say this with every sense of authority. Hope Uzodinma, who was appointed the chairman. We know when he came into Benin City.
So, but let's get it very clear. I'm sorry. Hope Uzodinma wasn't the returning officer.
He was not the returning officer, but as the chairman, he was supposed to stay around to superintend. He had even abdicated that duty. They thought he was not coming. Because the collation process was not favoring the candidate he was sent to return. Remember, about 2 weeks ago, one of the aspirants, Chief Blessing Agbonwere, had raised an alarm. And he was very vocal in saying that Hope Uzodinma was the person who Shomole had recommended because he was the zonal organizing secretary of the party in the South South. So he knew the script. Just the way he said it, that's how it played out. And unfortunately, a day to the election, Oshomole openly said this is the candidate he was going to impose.
And who's the candidate?
Denko. He said it clearly in a viral video. So it's quite unfortunate because before now we used to have leaders like Ogbomudia, and then that was the golden era of our politics. These were leaders, you didn't hear them talk. From their body language, their followers knew what they were saying. What we have now is a situation where Oshomole masquerades as a leader, but he's one of the aspirants. He was the 13th aspirant. I'm sorry to say that he didn't play a leadership role. We hear talks were sent to stop the process, particularly when eight, I said, local governments have been announced. His preferred candidate won just 2. The other person that was returned by the returning officer was leading 6 local governments. They sent talks. So we were not surprised when we saw some persons taking over the secretariat. A busy person would not say he wants to stay in a place for 7 days. That is the problem because people see politics as work. They don't see it as something that you do to serve humanity. For them, it is a full-time employment. That's why I had to resign from the party. Because APC as a party, they are trying to bring down democracy in Nigeria. And I'm talking as somebody who was once an insider. I know the rubbish they do there.
All right.
And they are taking Nigerians for a ride, and it is wrong at a time. At a time like this. At a time like this. You know, the problem with us in this country is that we fail to speak truth to power, and that's the reality. That's why things have gone so bad. These are the people that surround the president. I'm sorry to say the national chairman of the party, in spite of this crisis, was busy congratulating one of the aspirants. And that is not leadership.
And that's where we actually...
That is not leadership.
I feel it because...
There's an appeal process that will continue. By that, he has said there's no appeal process. I mean, it's very shameful that we have this kind of people as our leaders. And I gave you the reason why they're acting like this. When Oshomola was national chairman, he imposed Gandude on APC members in Kano. The same happened in Imo. He imposed Hope Uzodinma. So they are here to pay back. And I don't think it is right for Mr. President to sit back and allow this happen to his own party. APC is now a laughing stock in my state. And you expect me to be in that place where you have what can best be described as a theater of the absurd? God forbid. All right. My integrity.
Very difficult situation there, actually. Now there are 3 candidates who are laying claim to this governorship ticket of the APC. In this instance now, what do you think is the fastest way to reconcile all the parties to ensure that, there's fair play for all?
There are 3 signposts to ask. The question is, who gave this authority? It was the National Working Committee of the party, under the leadership of the same chairman who was now congratulating one of the aspirants. The mandate was clear. There was, for the first time we had a novelty, a chief returning officer, whose duty it was to get results from the various local government returning officers that was appointed by the same party. Coalition was ongoing. It got to the 8th local government. Talks came to disrupt the process. But the good thing is, these same people went back to a safe place to continue the coalition. But of course, because the chairman who was Awol, who they say went abroad, came into Nigeria, came into Benin, passed one, thought that this process must not be allowed to complete itself. Now, because there was a script to announce Dennis Idahosa, he did that. Do you start with an answer? The answer is no. You cannot just declare somebody. You must collate. Even the president's election, there was collation, though it was announced in the wee hours of the day, but there was collation. But Hope Uzodinma just came out on the blue and he announced Dennis Idahosa. Is that democracy? Do you call that an election? It will not be an election. But the parts played by the various local government coalition officers, and I think it was in the heat of that confusion. I know dollars or naira must have exchanged hands for these new claimants to the office of candidates of the APC. And I told him, with profound respect, we sat together, and he was saying, I said, what happened? He said, I said, you didn't win any election. Let's be honest.
All right, but he says that the local government returning officers, led by Ojo Babatunde, announced him as winner. That's Honorable Anamero Dekeri. Then there's this hold on.
Maybe in his own local government, he was returned as a winner in his local government, because that is the duty of a local government returning officer, not the state or the chief returning officer.
All right, now you go to the chief returning officer, who is Stanley Buaja,
of course,
now saying that he actually conducted this election very well, and that it is Senator Monday Okwebolo that won. But that happened in the house of Pastor Osage Izeyamu.
It is from me I'm hearing it, but I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
From what INEC has said, that look, what the APC wrote to it is that the declaration will be made at Lodgeville Suites.
There's what you call the doctrine. I'm a lawyer, not just a lawyer, I'm a constitutional lawyer. There's what you call the doctrine of necessity. We've had military regimes in this country. There's what you call effective control. In a situation where thugs, I give you an example. If Mr. President, I'm not praying for it, is ransacked, he's taken out from the villa by some forces that the Constitution does not recognize, contrary to the provisions of Section 1, Sub 2, that no persons or group of persons can take over power. For safety, he can go to some other place and he can still carry out his duties as Commander-in-Chief. So the Chief Returning Officer's rule was endangered. And they said danger invites rescue. So he was rescued to a safe place. And he was able to complete that process.
Was that safe place in Pastor Ezeyamu's house?
I'm not in a position to say that. I'm just hearing that from you. I was not part of the process because as an individual, from the alarm that was raised, first by Chief Blessing Agbomore, that this thing has been decided. I said, as a very busy person in Abuja, I'm a practicing lawyer for Christ's sake. I cannot just go and waste my time. At the end of the day, the people that came out to vote, most of them who spent hard-earned resources to get air tickets to travel to Benin, they all regretted. And I say this with every sense of responsibility. Some of the persons who left their homes were almost killed. You saw those viral videos of people's head broken, INEC officials, party members. This is not the democracy the likes of Abiola died for, or his wife Kudurat. It's not the democracy the one he died for, the way Saruwa was gruesomely murdered in defense of the same democracy. Asiwaju, the present president, went on exile. I think Mr. President must address these issues. Because we talk of insecurity, the way and manner Edo is going, we're almost going to a state of anarchy, a state of anarchy, like the Hobbesian state of nature where life was nasty, brutal, and short. You see people, they take over the state working committee premises, and the police, they are, arms and keep watching them. That was the same thing they did on Saturday. The commissioner of police was there, nothing happened. We talk of insecurity. The problem we have presently is the political class. And if democracy will end, which we don't pray, they should be held responsible for it.
All right, and of course, the political weather in Edo is not just friendly. I mean, it's hazy at the moment because even in the opposition, in the ruling PDP in the state, we also have the governor and his deputy, trying to slug it out. I know that you've been close to Philip Tribal at some point in time. How is he faring actually in the PDP? Because that's another battle waiting to actually happen.
Decision, after the APC primaries to stay partyless because I've come to accept a reality. We don't have parties with ideology. You look at PDP, you look at APC, they are two sides of the same coin.
How about Labour Party?
And Labour Party is trying to copy what they are doing. You see what they are saying about their national chairman. The fact that he cannot even account for the monies he has made, the billions of naira. Nigerians contributed to the pause of the obedient movement. And that issue has even opened the eyes of Nigerians that it's about, I'm sorry to say, it's
I'm
about,
I'm not his defender here, but what he says is that he's innocent.
If a treasurer is saying that I have not seen a dime, that is her duty. Treasurer, it's like this issue of the conundrum between returning officer and chairman.
All right.
Treasurer now saying the national chairman is doing the work of treasurer, and the issue of accountability. So I will end by saying, we must save democracy. And the buck stops at the table of Ahmed Tinubu, the president of the Federal Republic.
Well, you haven't answered my question on Philip Shaibu.
No, for Philip Shaibu, he has a right to aspire. And my own grounds was that the president cannot prevent a freeborn from aspiring to any office of his choice. Talk less a person who occupies the high office of deputy governor. So I think Edo people and the party members of each of these political parties, the APC is in crisis. PDP, they have their own. I think their own primaries comes up on Thursday. Yeah. And we expect to see some of the same legal issues come up. Because you cannot expect 9 aspirants to complain as stakeholders in the party, and you say what they are saying is rubbish. Time will tell.
All right. Adams Oshomole has always been known as someone who stands for one man, one vote. And with some of the accusations coming out of the Edo APC primary, one begins to wonder, actually, has he lost his democratic credentials?
And I'm sorry to say this, he has never had it. In law we say, you cannot give what you don't have. Never that could not abet. I tell you that I was very close to the late General Sam Okwemudia. He told me how Adams Oshomole emerged governor of Edo State. We know what happened. But we choose to keep our lips sealed because at the appropriate time in history, people will know that. Some people got it through the back door, and that back door will always remain in their memory. And I give you an example of what I'm saying. Look at how democracy started in 1999. Remember the elections we once had in this country. The primaries, we didn't see this kind of crisis. We didn't see Chief Aneli come out to say, oh, you must support this particular person. We didn't see a situation where results were being collated, thugs went there. As we speak, nothing has been said about an arrest. And Oshomole, I'm sorry to say, is the mastermind of all these things we are saying. He first of all set up, he set up a shadow screening committee, and he just wanted to embarrass our elder statesman, the leader of the House of Reps, Professor Julius Ihonveri, brought him into the drama. He had Dennis Idahosa in mind. If that was your choice, why did you allow your boys to go and buy pig form? He pretended that they were 29. Those other persons who chickened out were his people. He told them to go and start saying that they will be governor. You saw them one after the other endorsing them. I mean, we should not pretend. What we have today are not leaders, they are pretenders. And I'm sorry to say, if you take Nigerians for a ride, you see what is happening in Oyo and across the country. Nigerians are tired. They are tired first of the fact that you took away subsidy, you are not providing alternative. Look at dollar, the naira is gone. 1,000 naira cannot do anything again. You look at employment, people are jobless. And that's why you say about 100 people say they want to occupy a 3-bedroom flat. National Working Committee must listen to us. They were paid.
Well,
these same people,
that's also
these are dogs of oliganism. I'm sorry to say they are dogs of oliganism.
Yeah, I mean, you're referring to Kabaka there.
No, of course, the name, you say Kabaka. Does that one sound normal? Does the name sound normal? Well, his name is, I really don't know his name again because they call him Kabaka.
Actually.
You know, he's the youth leader. And you expect me to be in that kind of party. Leader. No, I'm sorry. Do you expect me to be in that kind of party?
Well, I mean, in political parties, it's just
I mean, like, you stay in a place for 1 week.
You get all sorts of people. It's just like a nation.
And you are not saying that somebody that was improperly returned must be made. And I think that is where democracy is now. We're at a point where we must ask, are we making progress? Are we making progress?
All right, very quickly, just before I let you go, Emwanta, the APC National Secretariat, I mean, I called the APC National Publicity Secretary today asking who exactly is the candidate of the APC in the Edo State governorship election. And he told me that, look, we are taking a look at it and we are going to see how there will be a resolution of the crisis. Do you believe in the reconciliation mechanism that may be set up, irrespective of the fact that the APC National Chairman may have congratulated someone, maybe in error? Do you believe that if there's any reconciliatory effort, that it could help reunite APC in Edo and maybe you going back to the party?
And I asked myself, I was listing those parameters. I think I mentioned one. The fact that the party gave authority to an individual to return. The second is that there's a body responsible for monitoring of primaries, INEC. INEC said Lodgeville Hotel, where that coalition was being done and circumvented, was a place designated. And it is only primaries conducted there and the one returned by the returning officer there that they will write their report on. And I tell you that if they don't do the right thing, any aggrieved person, it's very sad. Somebody was leading and won the election, you deprive him of his mandate, he goes to courts. Just like what happened in Zamfara and Rivers. And who was national chairman? The same with Shomole. The party lost those 2 states to the opposition. So it is really up to APC. I think they should do the right thing because there's no proper way to do the wrong thing.
All right.
Allow the person returned by the returning officer to remain as the candidate of the party who has already been issued with a certificate of return.
All right. Well, we just hope that all of you will take things easier, especially for the group led by Tony Adun, who is known as Kabaka, who are having a sleepless night. You know? I mean, because of the issues that have happened right here at the Edo State APC State Secretariat. They are insisting that the State Working Committee must go. And we all hope that everything will end up in peace and the APC National Secretariat will do what is supposed to be done. Well, we must thank you so much. Andrew Emwanta is a former commissioner in Edo State, and he has joined us to help us understand all the issues that happened in Edo APC at the weekend where there was a primary election to elect the governorship candidate for the governorship election set for September. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of Arise Primetime. Do join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Sumner Sambo.